Hello, everyone. It's me, Kirsten, and this is the It's Giving Mystical podcast. And this is our podcast, our long form podcast for July. In July, we are going to be working with the energy of the Chariot and the energy of the Tower, number 7 in the Major Arcana and number 16 in the Major Arcana. Because of this Hermit year, because of this 9 energy, all of our cards are going to be double doses of energy. So we saw last month in June, we had the double dose of the Lover card and the Devil card. So that idea of union coming in, that idea of choice, connection that came in as a 6, and then the ways that choices become a little sticky or unhealthy or restrictive coming in with the Devil card with number 15. This month, we have the number 7, which is the Chariot, which is a beautiful card about control and power and victory and a sense of mastery, like a sense of, I know who I am, I know what I'm here to do, and I feel good and clear and strong in that purpose. And the Tower card, which is the card of, you don't really know a thing at all. Like, you don't know anything about anything. And all the ways that you've constructed a reality that makes you feel like you're in control, that makes you feel like you know, is an illusion. So that's just an interesting contradiction because they're both expressing 7 energy. They're both expressing the sense of mystery, the sense of transformation. So the Chariot card is, oh, I am powerful. I am transforming into a being that knows how to move through the world, that knows how to control the world and dance with the magic of the world. There's something about the Chariot that just exudes this authority. So the Chariot card has the sense of, I don't even need to hold the reins. Like, I've got this all under control, and check me out. Like, here I am, the personification of the heavens and the earth here meeting in the world. So that is the 7. That's the beauty, like this empowered, victorious sense of being human. And then the Tower card is also a 7. It's also about transformation. It's also about mastery, but it's about blowing up the structures that maybe made us feel safe, maybe made us feel powerful and in control, but were limiting in their essence, limiting just because they exist. Their job is to be a limitation. So for the month ahead, when I looked at these 2 cards together, it was funny. It's just a funny contradiction. So I invite you to have a lot of humor and be playful with whatever comes up this month. But the energetics across the board was a sense of illumination. This sense of becoming aware of your own limitations, becoming aware of your own false narratives, becoming aware of the sense of where you think you know, that maybe you don't know at all, right? What you've invested your sense of power and identity in, getting shifted, getting shaken up. That might sound intimidating. I feel it as a beautiful liberation. I feel it as a, oh my God, I didn't even know that I didn't know that. And the way I can describe this sensorially, the experience I had in my body when I was sitting with this energy, was like an awareness of this metal armor under my skin or in my energy field, something that is actually rigid and constricting and limiting by its nature, also protective, but mostly the sense of a shell that I had on that I had outgrown, and it was becoming uncomfortable. But I was so used to wearing it. So it's like your skin, right? You're so used to being in your skin, you can't even really feel that it's a limitation. This was not your skin, this was an energetic, but it felt like a shell or armor that you were outgrowing. And that was interesting. That came up in June, one of the weeks. It was like, check your armor. That's here with us. So there's a sense of this, like, sometimes I wish I could really draw for you what I see, but it's like this very thin coating of metal that you walk with every day, that you wear every day. Something about this month, you're going to notice that it doesn't feel good anymore. Like, oh, wait, I built this thing. I'm wearing this thing. I'm arming myself in this protective case. And it's not what I want anymore. Like, it worked for a long time, felt really good for a long time, and all of a sudden it feels constrictive and tight. And can you take this off of me? Can you get this off of me? It really relates so beautifully to the Tower energy, because the Tower, people see it, they freak out. Don't freak out. It's just saying that the shell, the encasement, the castle, the structure, the ego that you've created, the identity that you've created has become too small for your being, that you are wider and more dynamic and more light-filled, more luminescent, more powerful than this case you've built to contain yourself. The tower, we say it's related to the ego, and that can be like a poo-poo ego, but that's not what's meant here. The tower is trying to explain to you that you build this ego for a very good reason. You build the sense of identity. You craft this narrative of who you are and why you're here and what matters to you for good reason. Any mystical tradition, any esoteric tradition will teach you that the vastness of the universe, the vastness of this unified field that you are in, you are part of, you are, is so vast, so beyond comprehension that it will literally blow your mind if you're not like prepared to see it. The sense of Kundalini rising, the idea of you go crazy when your Kundalini rises, if you are not prepared to experience the vastness of you and you as a reflection, you as a component of the universe. So we build this structure, we build this ego, this tower. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a beautiful, healthy impulse to create structure that allows me to say, oh, wait, this is me, and then this is the world outside of me. And I'm going to understand the microcosm of me because that's something I can comprehend. It's something my mind can wrap itself around. It's something that I can consciously process, something I can put into language. So we have this sense of, if I put this wall up, if I build this tower, I can just have this experience. I can stay in here and I can leave the world to itself. I can leave the world out there. And the reason that the tower exists in the major arcana is because we all come to a point where that ego, that identity is too small. Like maybe not all of us, but I think that's kind of the path of human evolution, is to come to this place where you say, oh, I thought I was XYZ, but maybe I am, 1, 2, 3. And we probably are going to reach moments like that over and over again in our lives. But the tower is the representation of, because we go back to this armor sensation, because it's so close to us, because our ego is so close to us, because our sense of control and safety and narrative is so close to us. Like we can't even see that we exist within it because it's like the whole lens that we're looking through. If we could see it, if we had distance from it, this is where like healing work comes in or energy work comes in. You get just that little bit of distance to say, oh, I want to make a tweak here, change here. The tower comes in when that you're so identified with that ego, so identified with that limitation, that sense of control, that you couldn't change it because you can't see it. You don't even know that it's the lens you're looking at the world through. So the tower comes through and breaks that down as a gift from the universe, as the universe stepping in to say, you are bigger than that shell. I'm going to help you dismantle it. Is that going to be comfortable? No, you might have like gotten really attached to that shell and the safety it provides you. But it's doing it for your own good. It's doing it because you've outgrown it, whether you are conscious of that or not. So I say all that because that sensation was really here with me when I was reading these cards and sitting in this energy. And it felt really good. It felt really like, oh God, that's been tight. I've been in too tight a corset for too many hours and I can finally breathe again. So it's actually a really beautiful gift to have that removed. And might you feel a little prickly or a little sensitive or a little vulnerable or a little unsure? Yes. But are you mostly going to feel a lot of relief? I think so. The other thing that came through was there's something here around illumination, around integrity, around truth. And what's interesting is that often when the energy of integrity comes in, it can have a sense of make sure you're telling the truth, noticing if other people are telling the truth, where are you colluding in other people's untruths or diversions or edits. Let's get honest, right? I know not everybody wants to do that. I would really like to do that. I think more people should probably do that. But let's get honest with what we're saying. Let's not agree to other people's mythology when it feels like it's really out of alignment and when it's impacting you. But integrity in this case came in as you don't even realize where you're out of integrity. There's something about this too small thing. And it has to do also with some true north, like some value you set for yourself that you have maybe been moving towards for a very long time, something about the arrival in that, the mastery around that. Okay, so the chariot comes back into the conversation, like the mastery around that. I've been victorious, like in some way, on some level. Okay, like I feel good. It also came up in the cards in June, that sense of you can have victory, you can have success in one aspect of your life, and you're allowed to want more. What feels like is coming up in July is this soul call for more, and then the confrontational reality of not being able to really access it by yourself. And so the universe stepping in and being like, here, let me take that armor off so you can actually access more of your heart, more of your soul, more of your light. I hope I'm expressing how good that feels. I also don't want to underestimate how disorienting that is. So what it feels like is, it feels like there's something that you felt really clear about, and maybe you thought you'd be navigating that forever. And maybe you have been navigating that for 7 years, 10 years, 14 years. Like the example in my case, I'll give you an example in my life, is freedom. Freedom has been the call of my heart for a very long time, like a very long time. I would say since probably after my son was born, after my youngest child was born, there was something that shifted in my world that basically said to me, I had been giving away my power. I had been selling my freedom or trading my freedom for other things. And there was this very deep call in my heart to not do that anymore. And the sense was, I want to be in a body, in a world, in a life where I feel like I can take deep breaths, where I feel like I'm free to be who I am, where I feel like I can evolve and express myself, and where there's not a limitation or a conditionality around how I exist to make other people happy. I can really credit that call towards freedom as being my North Star, like the thing that I keep coming back to. And it has been a wild ride. I say this in Women's Circle all the time. I've been asking for freedom, and then I get it, and I'm like, oh, wow. It's a lot of responsibility being free. It's a lot of responsibility holding that as your North Star. And I was sitting in meditation this morning, and I had this realization. This is very vulnerable for me to say here, and it's something that is in evolution for me and like in process for me. So I hold it with very loose hands, and I ask you to kind of hear me say it as an example, but please don't bring it back to me right now. Is a sense of the independence that's come with that freedom, and a realization that that's no longer working for me, that no longer feels good to me. And so I was literally meditating on this morning, this sense of, okay, so I find myself very free in a way I'm so blessed. And also I'm very aware of the places where that is limiting me, and it's still a work in progress, but I have some sense of the negotiations I've made to keep freedom, that North Star, that I might want to revisit. And that to me feels like part of what I will experience in July. Like I'm pretty sure the chariot and the tower are going to come for me on that dimension. They're going to come for me on this dimension of, what else do you value as equally as you value freedom? And for me, I think this idea of love coming up here and partnership, like I think that's all going to be percolating in July for me. And while I feel a little intimidated and scared about that, I also realize how right that is. And I also realize how, by not being willing to go there, I'm actually limiting who I am in the world. And so that's my psychology, right? Like my journey. And maybe you feel something similar, maybe yours is totally different. But there's going to be this realization of something you've maybe gained mastery around or feeling really confident and right about. And then sneaking around that side corner is going to be something that kind of rips the armor off and says, but baby, you've forgotten this part of your soul. You've forgotten this part of your light. You've forgotten this part of your purpose. And so I just really have this sense of this corset or this armor just getting pulled away. And aho to that, aho to this ever unfolding, ever evolving sense of getting to know ourselves. So the integrity will come in for some of you, for some people, there's going to be a sense of revelation. There's going to be a sense of something coming into your field that feels like news or feels like truth told or feels like, oh, I thought this was the story, but this is actually the story. There is going to be this illumination in terms of truth, in terms of what you thought, in terms of the story you've been telling yourself. And it might actually come from outside of you. That's the sense I get. Like someone knocking on your door and being like, hey, did you know this? And you being like, no. And then whatever hijinks ensue from there. But the integrity feels bigger than that. And it feels like a request from your soul that you not stop, that you not give up just because you've reached mastery. And there's something about the tower coming in that's saying, you might really be tempted to be like, I'm good. Like, I've nailed it. Like, I've got this thing going. I've got this down pat. And for me, again, like in my life, like I can look at my life and be like, I'm solid. Like, this is solid. But I can hear knocking at the door, you want more. And so for all of us, there's going to be this sense of, do you want to stay comfortable? Maybe a little bit more than you want more. And the tower's like, you don't really get a choice. The tower's like, no, dude, like there's no staying still in life. There's no reaching the mastery and then being like, done. I say this all the time, quote me on it, but there's no arrival. There's no arrival. And that's exhausting. And also the best news yet, this sense that we can have mastery, we can have success, we can have structure and freedom and safety and whatever else we're looking for. And there will be more. There will be more to want. There'll be more to experience. And so it's less about, okay, we've gotten to this place, and it's more like, have we taken the time to rest before the next leg of our journey begins? And dude, it's a wild, beautiful world. Like, why shouldn't we want to experience more? Why shouldn't we reach the edge or reach the mastery and then figure out what's next? So those are the things that come up around the chariot and the tower. The other thing that's really interesting is in Mystic Rising, we're working with siren energy this month. And the siren and the chariot kind of work hand in hand together for me. The chariot is actually the card of Cancer. So it's the card of the water sign, the cardinal water sign. And you guys have heard me talk about this before because my middle daughter is Cancer and she teaches me so much about this energy all of the time. But there's something about the cardinal water that is not to be denied. So when we say a cardinal water sign, what we mean is that the powerhouse of that energy is the emotional body, is the water body. So the Cancer, their language is emotion. Their movement through the world is an emotional body first movement through the world. Cardinal energy means that they can generate new energy. And what I say about Lila, one day she'll listen to these podcasts, I'm sure, and be like, Mom. But what I say about her is that she will change the entire room by walking into it. When she walks into the room in a good mood, it is like the sun rose and we are blessed beyond words. When she walks into the room in a bad mood, it's like, everybody get down. So there's this sense that when Cancer, the cardinal water sign, moves into a space, they can actually push. It's their superpower and one of their weaknesses. They can push their energetic, their emotional body into the space and recalibrate everyone else's emotional body in the space. Incredibly powerful energy. The reason I'm calling on the siren and Mystic Rising this month is because that is something to be explored. The way that you use your feminine emotional body to change the space and to impact other people. This is probably our first foray into dark feminine energy because the siren has a destructive quality to her that is legendary, legion, but it also has this magnetism, this curiosity, this undeniable seduction that is an incredible power. And I believe that many women are just cut off from that right away, particularly in adolescence. We're taught that that is either something dangerous or something to protect the world from. You're so delicious, so seductive, so magnetic, you better not cause damage with that. Or you can cause damage with that, and then when the other parts of the psychology are undeveloped, but you realize you can impact the world by your seductive qualities, that's also dangerous. It's a little bit of a twisted archetype in our society and culture, and it's one of the reasons I want to work with it, because I want women to have it in their constellation, have it in their awareness, to not exist in a shadow space around it. And at the same time, how do we use this as a power, as a force for creation and energetics and like feeding our own well, versus something that either we're not allowed to bring to the world or we bring to the world in a way that is harmful or destructive. And sometimes that's appropriate too. Sometimes people need to crash out on the rocks. So I say all that because the question of the siren is, how comfortable are you with your own power? How at home are you in your power to do good and your power to destroy? So there's a little bit of a Kali energy here. I want what I want. What will I do to attain what I want? There's something about that energy that's here in terms of the armor getting broken down or the tower getting broken down. So even though it might feel this month like something from the outside is asking you to expand, what's really happening is there's a deeper calling in you saying, we must expand. We must do more. We must experience more. And that's powerful. But that's yours. That's your soul. So that's this whole idea of like accountability and agency. Like we think we can say, oh, well, the world did this to me. And I was listening to Alberto Viola on the Know Thyself podcast, and he's just so lovely. And he was saying that if you get bit by a snake, go see a Western doctor, get the antidote. He goes, and then go see a shaman and figure out why you got bit by a snake. So it's like both and. There's something here about, yes, the world happens to you. The world impacts you. Things happen to you. And also you are calling for things at the same time. So what's happening there? What's that negotiation like? So I am excited. Also optimistic, nerdy Kirsten is always excited. But I'm excited because when I first looked at these cards, I thought, oh, people aren't going to be into this. But then when I sat with it and this energy of illumination came through, it felt like sun, like life force, like vitality, like more chi, more prana, more life, more energy. And that felt really good. Is there going to be a little bit of discomfort in the expansion? Probably. But that's why you practice. That's why you listen to podcasts like this. That's why you have a meditative practice. That's why you journal. That's why you work with your own energy and you have great healers around you, because it's okay. It's okay for life to keep lifing. That's what it does. That's what your soul does as well. And I keep saying everyone should rest at the end of June. And that's why I'm saying it, because there's something about notice where you're doing really well. Like notice where you're solid. Notice the ground you've covered. Notice the miles you've walked. Notice where you feel some sense of mastery, some sense of, okay then. And then be prepared for you to hit a limit that says to you, and I want more. And be prepared for the universe to be offering more to you. Like that, this is a very powerful co-creative meeting point happening this month. The other couple of things I'll say is this feels very protected. It feels very right on time. I know the astrology is wild, and I know the world feels wild. And I also know there's something about you knowing who you are in a wider way, in a more solid way, that can't hurt. Like it can only bring good things to the world and bring good things to your life and bring good things to your community. There's a strength here being revealed that is undeniable and feels good. So you feel very protected. And I also would say that you, as you listen to me say this, you probably know what's coming. You might have some intuitive hits about what's coming down the lane in July. And I would maybe not force anything. I would maybe just let the things come down the lane. And the siren invitation is going to be, I'm going to stay with me. What is meant for me, the things that need to be drawn to me in order to release this armor, in order for me to live more fully, are not going to miss me. And there's something about the cultivation. The siren energy is, she doesn't go out there. She's not going out there to look for the thing or chase the thing or find the thing or capture the thing. She's staying present. And that's also a powerful, powerful lesson from the Chariot. The Chariot is completely relaxed in their power. There's no efforting, there's no straining, there's no like, I'm gonna miss it or I gotta rush in there. There's just this sense of it all happens in right time. There's a sense of I know who I am. There's a sense of I'm gonna consolidate. I say this about the chariot when I teach this. The chariot is this deep consolidation of power in the solar plexus. It's this deep sense of I am here, and that is enough. And then the siren energy might lower that energy into our sacral a little bit, but there's this deliciousness of the drawing in, of the magnetic. And I have a sense of, you're going to kill me, like the mushroom cloud. But that's what happens, right? This like atomic movement of in and then out. And there's something about that that feels like it's here. So just notice any part of you that feels like you need to go out and hustle in July. I would invite you to really come back to your own energy body, to your own sense of pleasure, sense of power, sense of mastery. And part of that will be the review of, okay, I find myself here and tying up any loose ends, like whatever that looks like. So I find myself here and these things need to be completed and I'm going to stay in this space. Something about that mastery, that attention, that clarity will pull towards you what needs to get pulled towards you. I'm excited. I'm always excited. It's my blessing and my curse. I'm always excited. But I do feel like there's something revelatory here, something liberating here. Talk about freedom. There's definitely a sense of the pace picking up. There's a sense of power. There's a sense of desire. There's a sense of expansion. And like I said, illumination. And it all feels really good. So I hope that offers you some sense of how to approach the next month and to take really good care of yourself and to let it be a little bit messy. I really will say that. Let your own experience be a little bit messy. Have room for your humanity. Have room for other people's humanity. That came up last month too. Something about the script or the narrative getting disrupted. So as you're approaching new situations, new people, new experiences, just have a looser sense of the narrative. Like you might have a sense of, well, this is how this goes. And I just invite you to be a little more playful and a little less ego driven in terms of this is the way it has to be. I think you really might be surprised in July. This dismantling is happening in your system. It's happening in everyone else's system too. That's going to create new possibilities, new interactions, new inflection points. Definitely going to cause new narratives. So maybe be open to what that looks like. Okay, let's pull a card for everyone. What should we pull? In honor of hopefully a few more of you joining us in shaman school starting in August. The deadline will be the end of July. In honor of that shaman school program beginning, I pulled a card from the shamanic oracle deck and a tarot card for each sign. So we'll see what comes through. And if you need to learn more, please listen to the podcast I did with Nina, the podcast I did with Maddie. Definitely come visit the webpage that I have up on the program. And please reach out to me with any questions or if you're interested. I would just love to have you there. It's going to be an amazing cycle. It's going to be so fun to have Stephen and hopefully John here. And yeah, it's going to be beautiful. If there's any part of you reaching out for that, I hope that you will come join us. So Cancer, King of Pentacles and eyes of the eagle rising above the fray. So listen, this is an invitation for you to get really clear about your real world. So your money, your possessions, your home, like your things, like your earth energy in your life, staying focused on that, not getting distracted by drama comes up, not getting distracted by other relational things. This is really an invitation for you to come back to your center, to your home, and to keep your eyes on your domain, on your nest. There's something very, like a very clear invitation to stay here and to mind your business in the best way, in the most lovely way. So there's just going to be possibly drama. That word keeps coming into my head. Drama trying to pull your awareness, and you want to just, what's my job right now? My job is my world, my business, my home. And so you're just going to stay there and let that guide you through the month. Like I said about the siren energy, you don't need to go out into the world with this. This is something that can happen in your own space, in your own field, and what needs to join you there will join you there. But anything that's kind of causing you friction or drama, I would just keep reminding yourself to come back home to yourself and see how those things get resolved by themselves. You don't necessarily need to step into every conversation. Cancer, Leo, 10 of Wands, and deep quiet meditation and stillness. So Leo, this would say to me, you are burdened. Life feels heavy to you right now, and there might be this sense of fighting that needs to come to rest, like struggling to push something forward that's not quite ready to move forward. And you're wearing yourself out in doing that. Like you're kind of wearing yourself out in the process. The invitation here is to come into quiet. So for Cancer, it's like step out of the drama. For you, it's put it down for a moment, put whatever you're struggling with or trying to figure out or trying to wrestle into structure. Just put that down for a moment and come back to your own, I said, depletion, like your own sense of filling your cup, your own sense of resourceness, your own sense of being plugged in, what feeds you, what fills your well. This feels like fatigue, and it feels like pushing in a lot of different dimensions. And the invitation, especially this is your birthday month, is to come back to stillness and allow the deep quiet, the void, to be a place that refills you. I can really feel the sense of the light and the dark in these cards, and the sense that you've been burning towards the light or burning the light, and this invitation to actually step back, get dark, and allow yourself to be refilled from those ground waters, from those like deep, dark ground waters. Virgo, we have the Queen of Cups and closing door, completion. This is interesting. A couple of things come through here. One is a sense of a creative project wrapping up, like a creative project coming to completion. But more importantly, the emotional body, like your emotional architecture, also coming to a close. Like something about the way I was talking about this limitation, this feels like you're going to really feel this limitation in the emotional body. So there's some sense of what you've accepted and being ready for more, but to making peace with the fact that this cycle is done, or this version of your emotional body is evolving. Also heard the other day, we have a new body every 7 years, the way our cells regenerate. Like, is it the same? Are we the same person, or is this a new person every 7 years? There's something about that energy here with your emotional body. So this also feels like it's happening, like it's in process, it's already happening. So bringing projects to completion, blessing the endings, like blessing the endings that are happening in your creative endeavors and in your emotional body. And yeah, just like a patience as you wait for this, for a new inspiration to hit, the new tides to roll in. There, it feels like there might be this liminal in between space, and I keep feeling a despair or a grief in that in between space. And so just recognizing that energy for the energy it is, which is the truth of an ending, and that's okay. And it doesn't mean there won't be a new beginning soon enough. But July, you might be kind of focused on the endings in a way that, I don't know, just might like spin your head a little bit. And so just saying, oh wait, this is, I'm at the end of this process. I'm in the release part of the cycle. I'm going to release and feel what I need to feel in that, and know that something new is being birthed. Libra, justice and dust devil, moving out of stagnation. Libra, this feels like I have my jaw's really active in this reading. I have this sense of frustration, and I actually feel a sense of anxiety, but not like body anxious, like mind anxious, like your mind kind of racing. And it's something, it has this sense to it, like it, I don't know. It has a sense to it like you're starting an old car engine that you haven't started in a while. And the image I'm seeing is you like trying to start this engine and it having a hard time turning over. And then when it turns over, this like huge puff of dust comes up. The dust devil, I'm sure, is helping with that image. But there's a sense of right timing. And there's a sense of, just because it feels a little like creaky and achy and puffy doesn't mean it's not right timing. There's something about, there's never been a better time to start. So whatever you're turning over and like wondering if it's going to catch, it is going to catch, and it is going to be a little bit like awkward, but you're going to be okay for that. Like that's part of the right timing, part of the process. And like I also feel like the Tin Man energy, like you need to oil the joints. There's something about something getting going again that is not new, but something like a part of your engine you haven't worked in a while, and that's okay. Like it's like allow it to be a little goofy, have a sense of humor about it, and know that once it gets started, it's going to feel really good. But that getting it started you might have some kind of rumination or some frustration around that, but it's going to get started. So just keep at it and be patient and laugh about it. Like definitely sense of humor is going to serve you in really good ways this month. So we have Libra, Scorpio. 4 of Cups, and the galactic mushroom, the divine matrix. 4 of Cups traditionally is a card of meditation or a card of dissatisfaction, a card of pulling back and a little bit of poutiness to it. So the mushroom coming in with it is interesting because the mushroom is like the opposite of that. Hold on, sorry. Scorpio, I don't know, it feels like something's going to blow your mind this month. Like it feels like you have this, I don't know, these 4 cups and you're like, these are my options. These are the 4 cups, which is always comes through with the 4 of Cups. Usually you just see the 3. And then the 4th cup is this hand of God, like this divine. But something about the mushroom coming in here is like, like you thought you were dealing with cups and you're dealing with the cosmic consciousness. So there's something about the lift from what you're imagining to what actually appears being surreal, like being enormous. I don't know. It feels a little bit shocking and a little bit like hold on to your hat. I mean, it feels like you're going into the month one way with one set of expectations and leaving it with kind of the doors blown off. And that's all right. Like as a fellow Scorpio, when I first pulled the cards, I didn't see this at all. I pulled these cards and I was like, I don't really know how I feel about the 4 cups. It's kind of a bummer, but that's part of the energy. Like the galactic mushroom is like, yeah, the 4 of cups is a little bit of a bummer. There's a little bit of a dissatisfaction. That does not determine what is to come. That does not determine like the route you're taking. And this feels very tower-y in that, like I thought I knew, but I had no idea, but in a way that's very life-giving and actually kind of miraculous and beautiful. So Aho, I hope that comes through for all of us this month, but that's an interesting movement. I don't think you have any idea what's coming this month, Scorpio, and it feels like that's a good thing. Like that's a beautiful thing. All right, Sagittarius. 8 of Swords and the whale song resonating. Okay, Sag. So this is really calling you into your waters. It's calling you into your depths. It's calling you into your emotional body. So the 8 of Swords always is about moving away from your eyesight and moving into a deeper place of knowing, really trusting the intuition, really trusting each step you take, not needing to know where you're headed, not even need to see that North Star we talked about earlier, but just knowing I need to do one foot in front of the other, one step in front of the other. And there's a listening that's always happening in this card, but something about the whale song, it's like, it's a deep listening. So Sagittarius, this is not your normal vibe. Like normally Sagittarius is moving a little bit too quickly for this, but there's something deep getting stirred up, something deep kind of calling to you, and you will know what to do with that as you hear the call, but making yourself available to it and even recognizing that it's possible for you to hear a calling on a deeper level is really all you need to know. So there's a sense of this is not about instant progress. This is kind of like a very different energy than the Chariot. So there's just something, it feels like if the tower is the walls breaking down, this is the ground opening up. Like there's something deeper speaking to you. It's kind of cool, Sagittarius. Like I wish I would like to I'm Sagittarius Venus. Maybe I'll experience that too. But there's something about you don't need to know what's 7 steps down the road. You just need to listen right now and put one foot in front of the other. Capricorn, Knight of Swords and Caterpillar opportunity. Capricorn, this is like something beautiful appears in front of you and it motivates you. Like something seductive and beautiful appears in your path and all hesitation flies out the window, all confusion, all misdirection, all like rumination. It's just like, oh, that, I see it and it's mine. Like you just go for it. You just go after it. This feels very refreshing. It feels very fast for you. It's not normally the way I would picture you navigating the world, but there's something about this that is like such a hell yes, like such a full bodied yes to this experience, to this connection. It feels like you want to connect to something. So whether that's a project or a creative endeavor or a human, a person, a relationship, a place, like there's something about this, the energetic value of this thing being revealed to you and you being like, that's where I have to go next. Really clear, cool. Capricorn, let me know what that's like. I'm curious about that. Aquarius, Page of Pentacles and Eye of the Needle, intentionality. This has a similar vibe to the Cancer energy I read in the beginning. There's something about precision and focus. Like you are just being called to get very granular. And the way that Sagittarius is called to like listen deeply, you are being called to watch carefully. There's something about this. I mean, look at the way they're looking. The Page of Pentacles is always fascinated by the world, and the Eye of the Needle is like very focused, requires like a lot of focus and discretion. So there's something about something is drawing your attention powerfully and fully this month, and that's right. There's something about the look very carefully at what's in front of you and like realize the gift that it is. What do they say in the Bible about easier for a camel to go through the eye of the needle than a rich man to get into heaven? I don't know. I don't know why I just said that, but that's what I was picturing with the eye of the needle. What does that mean? That means I've never really understood what that means. So if you know what that means, you can hit me up and tell me. But there's something about where is your focus and like giving it your all. I keep picturing this, like there's a project, there's something that's calling for your attention. It would behoove you to give it your full focus. Interesting, Aquarius. Pisces, we have dancing on one foot, balancing act, and the 9 of Wands. Okay, so the 9 of Wands, our wounded warrior, she is here with us and dancing on one foot. Dances on one foot, balancing act. Interesting. What I feel from this is like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. There's just something that's like hasn't quite landed and you are getting a little bit of a push-pull from the universe, a push-pull from your own inner psychology. There's something like there's a part of you that really is craving a rest, and then there's this invitation from the universe to keep dancing. So what would I say about this? I would say be okay with the movement, with like the shifting winds this month, and also take the space you need to rest when you need to rest. There's just this conflict between being called out and wanting to stay back, and just maybe you can just have the sense of both and, like I'm allowed to have both and. I can dance for a while, but when I need to rest, I actually need to honor that. There's something there about the way you've maybe pushed over in the past, like you've been asked to dance and you keep going even beyond your preference or beyond your comfort. And there's something about you learning how to speak up for your discomfort or learning how to speak up for your no, your right just to rest sometimes. Like you might love the dance, but you also require the rest. And there's something about that kind of coming up this month. Aries, 3 of Wands and many masks, the authentic self. Okay, Aries, this doesn't get more clear. The 3 of Wands is the card of I know myself, like the card of I know what I'm here to do. We talked about this card last week. I think it was one of my favorite cards in the deck. I think it's my personal year. It's a sense of like, fuck y'all. Like I know what I'm here to do. I know what I need to focus on. I need to turn my back and be on my path. And I'm going after, I know my power. I know who I am, and I'm going to call to me the life that I dream of. And many masks is the authentic self is the same thing. Like I'm done pleasing y'all. Like, I'm done putting on the mask and putting on the show and doing what needs to be done to please some other god. Like, I'm here to be of service to myself. This feels super powerful, super fierce, and my whole body like relaxes. There's something about this that feels like the most beautiful part of Aries warrior energy. Like, this is someone who is trustable. This is someone you would follow. This is someone you would say, yeah, I believe you and I will walk with you. Really cool energy, Aries. I hope that that comes up into your life, because that feels like life-giving for everyone around you. All right, Taurus, Page of Wands and a tidy house, clarity and organization. Okay. I'm only laughing because I'm a Taurus rising and I keep having this call to like handle the junk in my house. And my house isn't even that messy, but like I feel called to really clear it out. And this is saying that I should do that. So you and me in July, we're cleaning our houses. But there's something here about reminding you that your space matters, like your space is sacred. And when you clear space, you allow new energy in, you allow new sexiness in, new inspiration in, new creativity, new fire, new life. So this is a good reminder to you and me both that there's something asking us to clear space for more fire, more life, more vitality to enter the room. And maybe that's the motivation we need. Like, we're not just clearing the space because we have nothing else to do. We're clearing the space as a sacred gift to the energy we're trying to call, to the warmth, the heat that we're trying to call into our lives. So, all right, you and me both. Let's clean up our old like storage rooms this month. And then Gemini, the Empress, and wood waves, adaptability. Huh. For you, Gemini, this is really a call to return to the woods. Like, I know that's kind of a specific thing to say, but there's something here about the sustenance, the creative ability, the fertility of the world, and something about the darkness of the woods. So I don't know exactly what you should do with that, but there's this sense of being replenished in like dark, mossy spaces. So maybe you're going to actually go out into the woods, or maybe there's the sense of putting your hands on a tree, putting your hands on the ground. There's something here, Gemini, about hearing the world in a new way, but to do that, you need to go to places that are quiet. That's so specific, and part of me wants to like reach for more, but I also feel this very strongly. So yeah, there's something that wants to be born. There's something that wants to be born from the quiet of the woods. I don't know. Well, sometimes I wonder, but I'm just going to leave that there, Gemini. I hope that that makes sense, and I hope that it calls to you and speaks to you. That's my July long podcast for you guys. I hope that was helpful. I hope it gives you something to navigate with or hold on to in the month ahead. Please, if you're feeling this call towards shaman school, I would love to have you with us. I'm just really excited about this entire adventure, this group of people that we're gathering, and the work that we're going to do together. It feeds me deeply, and I know it will feed everyone who's part of it. I know it will feed the world. So if you want to be part of that, join us. Mystic Rising will be investigating siren energy this month. So if that's something that speaks to you, please come join us there. I'm going to rework that a little bit so that the structure is a little bit easier for people to metabolize who can't be on these long calls. So more information about that coming soon. And otherwise, just with you and with you in the illumination and liberation that we are all going to experience in the month ahead. May it serve us, may it serve you, may it serve your art, and may it serve the world. Talk to you soon. Bye.